Gabby, I love you.
Thank you, Korey Konstantine, for being here. I'm so glad that I've been blessed with your presence here on my channel. So tell me, how has your day been?
It's been just another day in paradise, you know. I love the way that you properly brought me in, gracing you with my presence. We're off to a good start.
You're from Baton Rouge, correct?
Yeah, technically, yeah. We
Okay.
don't claim that anymore.
So what do we claim?
The greatest city in the world, Austin, Texas.
And what brought you to Austin?
Culture, things being a little bit different, a change of pace, being away from Louisiana, being as regressive and oppressive as it is.
You're also a former Rose Wrestling Academy champion. So you are still there currently, but what are some key takeaways that you still carry with you from day to day?
I think the biggest thing is that, which is going to sound absolutely crazy coming from me, is to check your ego at the door. And that really, there's still no guarantees in wrestling, no matter kind of what you throw into it. A lot of it still can be, just how hard you're working and what work you're putting in, and then what opportunities you're able to make the most out of.
From Rhodes, what are some of your favorite memories that you had so far?
I think it would probably be, winning the title and, speaking with Dustin and everything like that, and having that confidence and that trust to carry and be the face of his training school for a bit there. Um, yeah, I think that would probably be it. We had a fun tag match not too long ago, working with this really, really talented guy. His name's Movie Mike. Um, yeah, he's fantastic. We had a really fun match not too long ago as well.
And how long were you the champion?
What was that, about 3 months or so? Yeah.
From speaking with him from time to time, like how is Dustin?
Yeah, he's a really, really good teacher. Um, he will give you whatever kind of bandwidth it is that you need and let you kind of run with your own ideas. Obviously, he was had the character of Gold Dust for so long, so he's open to things that might be a little bit different. Um, he's also being that he is older. I think he's been active in 4 decades now, 4 different decades, maybe 5 different decades now. He also is good at helping me be able to adapt, because he's had to adapt as well. So, a lot of the state of wrestling now is that it's very, very, very fast, right? Um, Whereas kind of what I was grew up on would be like, you know, early to mid 90s, 2000s attitude era where things were a little bit slowed down. There were more story beats. It wasn't quite as fast. So he's helping me be able to bridge that gap to know when you need to change gears, when it's okay to just kind of like, I don't know how to say it, but just kind of go balls to the wall with stuff. Even if it might not necessarily make 100% sense. But he's helping bridge that gap and being like, hey, it's okay. We kind of, we turn it up a little bit.
So, what would you say is harder in wrestling? Is it the character work or the physicality?
Oh, it's the character work, for sure. Because I mean, you can put on a match, right? You can do all the moves, you can do everything else, but that's at the end of the day, you can watch a 20-30 minute match, right? I'll give you an example. Um, what Kenny Omega versus Okada three, they went 65 minutes or something like that. I can only remember one part of the match. That was a key story beat, right? So it was like that wasn't necessarily character, but that was a story beat of the entire match. I can only really remember one thing that really stands out. So I would say, yeah, it's that because I mean, you can, as they say, you can train a monkey to do all the moves. It doesn't mean it's going to mean anything.
And how long do you think it took you to finally, get that character down, the character that you want to portray?
I don't think that I still have. I've got different ideas, and you're always evolving and you're always trying new stuff. So you're always adding a little bit more. You're always evolving, like I said. So I don't think that I've still fully gotten it down. I think it's always still going to be a work in progress. I think that's kind of how everybody is. You just kind of throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. So um, for a while, I kind of had a character down, but I mean, what I think I started that character in 2016 and it went on until 2022. And I probably didn't really fully grasp it 100% until probably like 2020, 2021. But that doesn't matter because then the world shut down. So I think that being away, being removed, not being as fully in it and immersed, and then when you're, especially during the pandemic, whenever you're having to cut different promos and stuff like that just to stay relevant, that makes you lean more into the character. So I think the more promos that you're actually able to put out that leans into your character is going to put you more in touch with what you're trying to get across. And then things just become second nature once you're out and you're presenting it live.
What are some elements of yourself that you want to show when you're wrestling or through your character?
So I think it's like I said, it's always in progress. It's always an evolution. Right now, I think it finally, I would only say probably about a week or two ago that I only had something that clicked to where I could incorporate all the different facets of something that I've been trying to. The initial idea was there 8 years ago, almost. And it wasn't until probably 2 weeks ago that I finally figured out, like, okay, maybe this is how you do it, and this is how you kind of portray it. So I've had 4 different iterations, kind of character over the years, um, and so I think it's the nuances, and it's something about wanting to be able to switch into each one of those, and then also being able to find something that um, can kind of portray that, even if that's just through a gear kind of situation. I mean, like actual, like physical wrestling wear. So that's kind of the next transition of doing that. But it's also, I feel it could be possible that I'm kind of winding down. Um, so not unlike that jobber, Dale Springs, I'm almost ready to actually start showing some of my actual personality of who I actually am and seeing how we can bring that out and then seeing what that feels like and then seeing how we can turn that up. Because a lot of the things that I've been doing, they've been bits and pieces. Um, but it's also been very much character oriented, right? It's something that maybe there's a small fragment, but it hasn't necessarily all been me. So now, over the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, it's been a legitimate internal rediscovery of who I actually am as a person, trying to figure that out. So then once we get there, then I'll be able to figure out what am I comfortable with sharing with other people. So it's a mixed bag, right? It's all the different characters that I've already portrayed, but now we're going to put them all in the ring at the same time. But then we're also going to introduce me as a person.
Well, I mean, that's life. I mean, you're always going through changes, evolutions. Things come and go. So that's perfectly normal. Give me 3 mistakes that rookies should avoid when trying to break into the wrestling business.
Don't think that you know everything. Um, don't try to be a wrestler. Don't try, just do. Maybe is a better one, better stated, because that's the best way that you're going to figure it out. And listen and ask questions. I know that's not necessarily mistakes, but I have seen a lot of people just kind of come in and they think they already know everything and that they think they're hot shit. I did it. I broke in. The first 1 to 3 years, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a cakewalk. This is gonna be easy. I'm awesome. And then now I look back at that person, I'm like, oh my God, sit down, shut up, and actually probably just get out of the ring. So
I I hear that a lot. Like a, a lot of people that come in, they think they know the business, which is like I can't fathom that. I'll be scared out of my mind. I will, I will want to ask a million billion questions. I will, I don't know. I can't imagine that. But I guess it makes sense. I don't know.
Because even when I started in 2011, like things weren't as readily available as they are now, right? Like now you have WWE who's, gonna say that they're gonna launch a show that's gonna be like, we're gonna bring you into the creative room. I'm like, can you just, I don't want to see how you made the elephant disappear. Like, can we just keep a little bit to ourselves? But having said that, there is a lot more people who are just willing to give more information now. So I think that the significant ramp of how good people who are new is directly correlated to the availability of information, right? So like I listen to whatever podcast I can listen to because I know that there's probably going to be some kind of information. I'm listening to Busted Open every morning, listening to Master's Class of doing whatever. I'm trying to get as much information as I can because there are people who have been there, done that, who are willing to at least give you a little bit of a nugget. And then if you know what you're listening for, then you can kind of build off of that. So I think that the availability of information now for people who are also just breaking in is significantly more. But having said that, until you actually get that hands-on experience, you know it, but you don't necessarily know how to apply it. And sometimes that can give you a false sense of security.
So, what are some of your favorite podcasts? It could be wrestling. It could be anything like to listen to. I know you said Busted Open.
Yeah, so Busted Open, like I said, I listen to most days, as long as I've got time or I'm in the car or whatever else. Um, Outside of that, I like to listen to various true crime ones, listen to audiobooks, but a lot of times it's those kind of things. You only have so much time in the day to be able to just kind of sit down and listen to things. So yeah, it'll be like I said, various podcasts, wrestling related. Something to wrestle with JBL is kind of fun now. Um, but as far as like other ones that kind of learn a little bit, probably let's I think Matt Hardy will kind of give a little bit of nuggets here and there. And then Jim Cornette is crazy. Um, it's predominantly wrestling related.
Awesome, awesome. Do you also like watch whenever you do have time, like any YouTube channels?
Oh, hot ones. Oh, I love hot ones. Yeah, I've gotten two cases of like the full season sauces. So I play that game with like chicken tenders and stuff like that and just run through the full gamut. I mean, I'm not asking myself questions, but yeah, I do like to run through it.
So you can handle the hottest sauce.
Oh yeah, recreationally. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Awesome, awesome. So take me through a day in the life of Korey Konstantine on like an off day when you don't have a show.
I'll probably wake up around 8:30, even though I want to sleep in. My body clock just doesn't allow that, regardless of what time I go to sleep. Um, Probably around 11 or so, I'll roll into the gym, be there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'll come home, probably do a little bit of housework, clean a little bit, play with the pups for a good bit. Um, yeah, and then just kind of veg out a little bit and decompress before, the work day starts back up on the following Monday, or maybe I'll do like some art or something like that, or try to make some wrestling gear, play some drums. Yeah, that's pretty much most of my hobbies.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I've got a Chihuahua pug who is gonna be 13 this year. Bless her heart, she's like basically deaf and blind at this point. And then I've got what I think is a Dutch Shepherd mixed with maybe like some kind of cattle dog, mixed with some kind, maybe like a smidge of a pity or something like that. So I've got two dogs and two cats.
I've never heard of a Chihuahua pug. I did not know those
Yeah.
existed.
Yeah, I'm sure they're right outside the door. Uh, Here's the
Oh no.
yeah.
That's crazy. It's like an overgrown Chihuahua with pug eyes.
Yeah, she's got like a pug body and a chihuahua head, but she's very sweet.
All right, so right now you're one half of the Pro Wrestling 225 Tag Team Champions. So tell me what your partnership with Russ Warren is like.
I mean, I feel like we kind of understand each other at this point. There's a there's a history of chaos, I think, just in both of our lives, and he's kind of cold-blooded, uncaring, and I can get down with that. I think it's pretty normal to be apathetic in today's world. So yeah, I mean, he brings aggression, and we just kind of have a mutual understanding that don't mess with me, I won't mess with you. Let's mess with them together.
So bringing chaos to 225.
I mean, do you see who else we're associated with?
Yeah. Speaking of which, I want to ask, what is the status of the Killjoys? Because last time we saw y'all, y'all were arguing and fighting. So what's going on? Tell me the tea.
Families fight. You're always going to have some issues, and then you just kind of have to circle back to common ground, and then you go back, and then you take over like you were doing before. Everybody has an off night. There's the any given Sunday thing, right? Where the worst team can beat the best team if the best team just happens to have an off day.
You are also the longest reigning 225 heavyweight champion.
That just I just happened to lose it, and then I went away for a while, and then they just kind of feel like they just kind of forgot about me, and even like trying to insert me or even let me work my way back up there, and that's fine because obviously you put me in the tag division. First time, Wes and I are actually tagging, and we win. So clearly, I'm doing something right here. But during that time, I mean, it was probably, the best time in the history of pro wrestling 225 for obvious reasons, being that I was at the tip top. Things were engaging. Lucha Lacura and I had history, shall we say. Um, and then I just kind of started, like I was saying before, I let myself be a little bit more there. And as I did that, and I trust other people, right? Like with Cody King and things like that. And it's just like whenever I started doing right for me, then other people decided that they were going to turn on me, right? The fans decided that they were going to turn on me. They started calling me awful names. They started calling her awful names. And then they were surprised whenever I made sure to do what I had to do to make sure that I stayed the champion. And they didn't like that, but that's what this game is about. In life, you do what you have to do to survive. It may not always be the most ethical thing, but who else is looking out for you?
I ask all of my guests this. So, favorite wrestlers?
Present. Me, for sure.
Okay. Past.
Also me. Your mom was pretty cool. The Rock was kind of cool. Shinsuke Nakamura also pretty cool. Uh, Dolph Ziggler, Big Nemeth, Chris Jericho, and of course, Bray Wyatt.
Mm-hmm.
That's special, special connection with them. You're welcome for my time. Are we done?
Yes, we're done. Thank you so much for being here, Corey. I appreciate it.
No problem.